Running a 10K is an achievement in itself, especially if you've hit a new personal best or achieved your goal time. But perhaps 10K is becoming your comfortable long run distance and are starting to look at a new further distance and thinking, could I tackle a half marathon?
I'm Anna, and today, along with Rick, we are going to be going through everything that you need to know about how to step up from a 10K to a half marathon, including training, nutrition, and mindset.
But first, if you're new to the running channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and tap on that bell icon so you get notified when we upload new videos all about running, which we do every week.
Maybe you've just got back from running the 10K distance for the very first time, or perhaps that medal from the 10K race that you did is hanging up on the wall and giving you the inspiration to go for a new goal. Whatever the motivation is behind stepping up to a half marathon distance, it's really important that you set yourself a goal. So that might be signing up to a half marathon race in the future, or picking a day that you're going to go out and do your own half marathon time trial. Either way, it's important that you give yourself enough time in the build up to this. We would recommend between 10 to 12 weeks to make sure you're in tip-top shape.
Also, consider your specific goal for the half marathon itself. Is it just to complete the distance, or do you have a specific time in mind? Whatever your goal, that will affect the type and intensity of training that you do.
The jump between a 10K and a half marathon is a big one. It's just over double the distance. So when you're thinking about setting your goal, don't aim to just double your 10K PB time, because that's not how it works. You're going to be running for a much longer period of time, which means that your pace will be slower than if you were just out running for a 10K. So we're going to take a look at some specific sessions for you to help you hit your half marathon goals.
So starting off with something that isn't running at all, strength training. Strength training might be something that you've never even considered before. You might not have done any of it, and you might have been injury-free in the run-up and during your 10Ks. But when it comes to the half marathon, strength training could be your secret weapon. Your weekly mileage is going to increase and you'll be putting a bigger strain on your body. So it's important that you strengthen your muscles.
So two key areas to focus on, especially for longer distance running. One is your legs and the other is your core. So with your legs, consider doing moves that are single legged. So things like step ups and single leg squats. The reason for that is that running is a one-legged sport. If you think about it, your legs are on the ground at opposite times, so you never actually got your both feet on the ground at once. So by doing single leg exercises, you can really strengthen your legs to prepare them for the longer distance. And don't forget your abdominals. So having a strong core means that you're able to make sure that your posture is good, you keep good form while you're running, even when you're getting tired. So what you'll see with some runners is when they start to fatigue, they might hunch their shoulders over, they might lose their posture and their form because they're getting tired. But if you've got that strong core to keep you upright, it can actually help your running economy and therefore help you run faster.
Now, if you're not too fond of going to the gym or doing home workout sessions, well, there is a running option for extra strength training as well. Hill reps. Now, hill reps might not be your favorite type of session, but they are a great way of building strength in your legs and will make the longer, flatter runs a bit more bearable. Building a hill session into your plan perhaps once a week is a great way of adding extra strength training as well as getting some extra mileage in too. You can incorporate them into your aerobic session by adding 5 to 8 30-second hill sprints, focusing on your arm and knee drive in between 2 10-minute threshold runs.
As well as strength training, it's also might be worth considering adding some cross training into your schedule. Now, when I first got my very first half marathon training plan, it said cross training. I thought it meant the cross trainer at the gym, but no. Cross training is things like cycling and swimming, things that when your mileage gets a little bit higher, perhaps you might want to consider as active recovery to lessen the load through your legs. And if you're still not sure what I mean about cross training, then make sure you check out the video on the running channel all about cross training for more. When stepping up to the half marathon distance, you may notice a slight change in the focus of your running from when you were doing 10K stuff. So when you're running 10Ks, then the focus on your training may have been more about tempo runs and speed work. Whereas when you start looking into half marathon plans, that then shifts and the focus then switches to longer, slower stuff.
This isn't to say that speed work goes in the bin, as it definitely helps, and it's important to do faster sessions to understand your race pace. It's just these sessions might become less frequent as we build up to the half marathon.
Most half marathon plans will include one long, slow, easy run per week, which will gradually increase in distance or time as the training goes on before you hit the peak, and then taper for race day, which we'll come on to in a bit. So the long, slow run will probably peak somewhere around 90 minutes or 10 miles total.
As well as the long run, most plans will also include 2 easy pace runs. This will not only get your legs used to the mileage, but also give you some consistency in your training week.
So that's 3 days of your 7-day week spoken for, but what about the rest of the days? Well, one of those days should be a rest day. And when we say rest day, we do kind of mean rest, put your feet up day. That might come after your long run if it's been particularly hard, or if you're doing faster stuff, you might want to take a rest day then. And on the other days, you might want to consider throwing your cross training or strength training into the mix as well.
And this leaves one day for a more technical session. This could be hill reps, a fartlek or interval run, or a tempo run, anything that can play a part in helping you achieve your end goal. So if you've crunched the numbers for the pace you need to be running at for your half marathon goal time, you could do a 5K run at race pace or a bit faster, or you could do 3 2-mile efforts at your target pace instead. These sessions are a great way of getting your body used to the speed you need to be going at as you head for your goal time. Learning to run at this pace will give you the confidence you need heading into your half marathon attempt.
Something which you might not have considered as part of your 10K training but becomes more important when training for a half marathon is hydration and nutrition. And that's because when you're training for a half marathon, you're likely to be out running for periods that are longer than an hour, especially for your long runs. And our bodies can hold enough glycogen in the stores in the muscles for us to go out running for about an hour, maybe a little bit more for some people. So when you're out on those longer runs, you're now going to have to consider how you're going to top those stores up. Also, you may have to think about how you're going to hydrate during your runs, especially if it's a particularly hot day.
Before your training session, it's important to fuel your body correctly so you have enough energy to complete your training plan. Try to eat meals that are high in carbohydrates before longer training sessions. For example, if you have a long morning run planned, try to eat a dish like pasta the night before.
As well as thinking about what you're going to eat before your run, you should also consider what you're going to have after you've run as well. So a balanced meal, if you can stomach it, but certainly one that's high in protein. That protein will help you recover faster as it helps your body repair micro tears that are done to muscles during any particularly difficult and intense workout or run, and that can include long runs because they do put a lot of stress through the body. Also consider whether you need to take on electrolytes after your run to replace any minerals that you've lost through sweat. And if you're not sure about electrolytes, be sure to check out the video on the running channel all about them.
It's a good idea to start to think about what food items you might want to take out with you while you're on a run. You might not have had to do this while you were training for a 10K, but as we build up the distance and head to that half marathon and we're out for well over an hour, it's a good idea to refuel on the way.
Perhaps you'll also be considering having energy gels to help top up those carbohydrates on the run. What we would suggest here is not to just go straight into taking on gels on race day, because as we always say, nothing new on race day. So the Sunday long run is the perfect dress rehearsal to test out anything like that. So if you want to try out gels and see how they do with your energy and make sure that they sit okay in your stomach, or perhaps you want to try out running with a hydration vest during your long run to carry water, this is the time to practice. Make sure that nothing chafes and nothing is irritating or gets in the way. Use your Sunday long run as the practice time. And I'm saying Sunday because the long run does happen on Sunday for a lot of people, but it might not work for you.
When it comes to half marathon race day, it's really tempting to keep running long distances, perhaps to prove to yourself that you can do it if you're having any doubts or just for extra practice. However, when it comes to the half marathon distance, it's vital that we taper.
Tapering means gradually reducing the intensity of your training, usually about 2 weeks in advance of race day, or if you're doing a time trial day, which then gets your legs rested and fresh, ready to go on race day itself. We don't mean stopping altogether. That's not what tapering is, just cutting back on the intensity of your training that you've carried through the previous probably 10 weeks.
Tapering is key to make sure you're on best form for the race itself. However, it doesn't mean that we put our feet up and take it easy for the last 2 weeks. A good place to start is 75% of your regular mileage, followed by 50% of your regular mileage in the week before the race, so that your legs are rested and ready to go. Now, if you want to know more about tapering, then check out our video all about it.
As you build up the time and distance that you're out running, you might find that you start to worry or doubt yourself. Don't worry, this is completely normal and happens to so many runners, myself included. With that, try not to be too hard on yourself. If you have a bad run, or perhaps your training week hasn't quite gone to plan, maybe life got in the way, it's okay. Just move on, park it, forget about it, and focus on the good training that you've done, and try and reinforce that positive mindset that you can and will do this. And one of the best ways to do that is to celebrate your milestones. Perhaps you've run the furthest distance that you've ever run before. You've absolutely nailed that speed session. Whatever it is, stop for a minute, pat yourself on the back and be proud of what you're doing. This is a challenge for anyone to complete a half marathon distance, and you're doing it.
There are lots of ways to improve your mindset while training for a half marathon. A motivational mantra, a power playlist, or even a great podcast to spur you on. Use your time training to work out what works for you, so if you have a wobble during the race, you know how to tackle it. And if you want more tips on mindset, then do check out our video.
We hope that's covered the main points for you to feel confident in yourself that you can and will go from a 10K to a half marathon. Got any questions for us? Leave them in the comments below. We'd also love to hear what your goals are, so make sure you let us know in the comments below too. We'd love to know how your half marathon training is going. We just love to hear about running. While you're here, make sure you check out some of our other videos on the running channel all about running, which we think that you'll love. And we'll see you next time.